If you know what an anglerfish is, or if you don't know what an anglerfish is, I mean, it has a little dangly thing. It's a kind of like a deep sea fish. So this is kind of what it looks like in your pocket. And then this is what it looks like when it's out of your pocket. Gee. As Blazers working to build the community to allow for discussion, we're providing specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. So if that sounds correct to you and something you're interested in, consider subscribing to the channel. So for this one, I would say a borrow knife. It is something that is a design. So with some great designs, there are things that are loved and hated. So that's something that's good about this. So thank you for also being part of the channel for anybody that's subscribing. So now at this point of this airing, I'm probably pretty close to 1,000 subscribers or surpass that at this point. So that's an excellent thing. I mean, I remember when I was 100. So thank you again for being a part of the channel. Like, share, subscribe, and then we'll check out this one here. So this is going to be one from Artisan Cutlery. This one is called the Ravine. So this is a very interesting knife. And one thing really great about Artisan is that you can get a knife design that you like. You can get it either in a base model or you can get it in a higher end model. This specific one is an S35. You also have the M390. And then you can go down to D2 and G10. So those are all the different things available for the knives that they have, and it's the same design. So if you love this design but don't want to get S35, you want to get D2, well, do that. Otherwise, we'll spring for the M390. So those are some of the great things about that for Artisan as far as that full range of their knives, because they really are trying to up their game to be able to really be on the same level as some of the higher end manufacturers. So comparison wise, so this one is a tip up carry, a right hand only. And as I made mention in the beginning, it kind of looks like an anglerfish. Anglerfish have the little dangly thing, so that's where they kind of draw you in. So that's all that's really showing. And then when you actually take it out of your pocket, I mean, this is pretty substantial. If bringing this to work, if you have anybody that's squeamish, this probably be one that would be kind of difficult to take out at work and actually use. But it is something that is an interesting design. So personally, I love this cut through, the logo that's actually cut out. And then, but I feel that this knife would look like I would consider buying it if this was brought down. So this area was brought down for the pivot. Pivot was moved down to this area, and then this blade was actually dropped down to actually be more of a standard profile. So really cutting out this whole area, bringing it down, and then having it actually be a sleeker profile across the board. Then I think it would be a really good knife that I would actually consider picking up for this design. But for this one, also within the pocket side, so you can look at the knife roll to see how it's going to fit in there. Also throw up the pocket as far as how that looks as well. We'll look at the hand sizing. So we'll start off with the adult female hand. So that's going to be in this position here, because when you actually put your hand down on it, that's going to be how that's going to be in your hand. So you can print that chart out. It is to scale when you print it, so you can see for yourself as far as where that's going to fit for you. So adult female, and then we're going to roll into the adult male hand for that sizing. So S35 is a good steel. It's going to be one that will perform well for anybody from a new user to somebody that really likes knives. For the chart for corrosion resistance, it's on the higher end of things. Still not top, but you have that information. You also have the hardness side, also more towards the higher end. And then looking at the other chart for edge retention, granted there's still going to be a lot way up at the top side, but it is going to be still a good performer for the steel. And then this one for the weight, they advertise a 5.64. I got a weight of 6 ounces even. So even with that weight, I was able to carry it without an issue. It is still a bit of a heft, but it wasn't bad. I mean, it's not something that was really noticeable when I was carrying it around. And then it actually really didn't take up too much in the pocket because a lot of this blade was actually tucked in, I guess it would be this way, tucked into the side of the pocket. So there wasn't really that much intrusion as I'm getting my wallet or my phone that shares in that pocket. For the light switch is the only really way that this opens. So otherwise, like a kind of a pinch and roll type of thing. So you can actually kind of pinch it open and then roll it the rest of the way. But I was surprised. I mean, this didn't. You cannot. I was expecting that to inertia flip, and it does not. So that's a pretty interesting one there for it. And then in the detent position, and there's a slight movement. But that's kind of not just it going onto the blade or coming off of the blade for that. So it's a really good setup for it for this knife. This one, as far as the blade length, I got 2.96. They list 2.83, and then for the handle side of things, 2.94. They have a 5. So very close to that. I mean, it's a nominal difference for that information. For the sharpness on this, this one came in at a 249. That's new high-end cutlery, so still a good starting point for a blade for this knife. The only issue now that I did see, there is a misalignment. Again, I don't know if this is going to be able to be seen, but I will try and show it to you. So there is a misalignment for the actual grind. So it's a little bit to one side for it. It's going to be hard to see, but basically this side is a little bit steeper of an angle than this side is. So that's one thing that is just a manufacturing or sharpening side, or as far as a defect for it. So you could fix that, get it reprofiled, but I mean, it doesn't affect the cutting side of things too much, but it's not the same grind on both sides for that. So for this knife, MSRP and the sales price, you can get this through White Mountain Knives. There's some channels that have the 10% discount code. So the sales price for the base model that you can get is $59.99. Take off 10%. Then you can get the higher end M390, $199.49. Take off 10%. And then the MSRP on that was $79.98 and $265.99. So a very good range for it. So it's not horrible pricing, fairly competitive as far as what's out there for the market. And then we'll kind of see as far as other things as far as the knives that are available too. So let's look at some of the other ones that are available, actually for some of the sizing side. So this one we have the old-fashioned blur. And we have this one, which is the PM2. That's on loan from Steve. And then we have the Osus. Then the regular Delica. Then we have this one, the Rat 2. And just because I wanted to show it, you have this one, which is the Provoke. And then you have the full-size Griptilian. So that's all the sizes for it. And so Griptilian kind of in length, very much wider. So if they could get the profile down to Griptilian size, just shrink it down that way, I think that would be a spot-on sign for that. So thanks again for your time. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and thank you for being part of the channel.